Hello everybody. Good morning and welcome to Monday Mornings with Michael. Today is February 28th and we are starting out a new week in the year 2022, and let us tell you, everyone here from Fisher Philbrick, good morning and happy Monday. We're super excited to jump into this new week. We hope your weekend was great, that you had some time to get stuff done that you needed to do, because that is always important. And then from there, we hope you had time to have some fun, relax. Myself personally, I found that taking Sunday as the one day to really be as much away from work as possible is so helpful. Saturday, I usually have to work, but Sunday is a great day just to have breakfast with the family, go to church, go to the gym. Yesterday, I started reading again, so hooray for that. Reading a book, all things that, it's weird when you need to take a break and you're used to being busy and you're like, I really want to just keep going and going and going. But at the same time, you're like, I know I need the break. And then after you have the break, most likely is what I've seen is that it is really helpful. And you're like, okay, I'm glad I did that. Maybe a little guilty because I could have gotten other stuff done. But as humans, we all need the break. So go ahead and give yourself that. And I also found that when you are giving yourself that break, then when you're starting out this new week, this new day, this Monday, you are way more prepared for what's to come, because you weren't having to work the day before. You actually got at least one day. Hopefully you're getting 2 days, because that's what a weekend should be. But maybe a lot of you also had the past week off for President's Day, or a couple days, or at least one day. Who knows? So hopefully, regardless though, you got to do something fun. I mentioned last week I was going to talk to you about the coffee story and why this is water. But basically, since high school, I would say I've been drinking coffee. Just about everyone, like 3 out of 5 of my immediate family have worked or are working for Starbucks. And so coffee has just been a very big part of everything as we go. And within that, it was just a normal thing, like, hey, coffee. Coffee is pretty cheap, if you did not know. So you can almost always get your hands on coffee, as well as most coffee shops, they throw out a lot of their coffee, because if they're keeping it fresh, it lasts for maybe 20-30 minutes. I mean, I think it lasts longer, because here at home, like, I microwave and reheat coffee all the time, even though that changes the quality of coffee. I'm like, does it really though? Because I add creamer and sugar and it just tastes sweet to me. But besides the point, coffee gets thrown out. It's very easily accessible. So I've just been drinking it a lot through high school. It was fun. I learned how to drive. I went to Valley Christian, which was up, it's a private school up on a big hill. And I would drive to school up the hill, could like drive one-handed, go up. The only time I would put it down is on rainy days, because when you're stopped on a hill going up with water and you just imagine like your tires spinning and you falling backwards to your death, that's when it gets a little scary. But high school was when I learned to drive holding coffee, and even to this day, I can drink coffee while driving. But anyways, flash forward to when I was really looking into coffee, and I was like, I wonder what would happen if I stopped drinking it. At what point would I get a caffeine headache? How addicted to it am I? As well as I mentioned before, but I tend to get up super early, just with the jobs I have going. I am a morning person, and I've always kind of wondered, like, I think pretty sure I am a morning person, but I do drink coffee in the morning. So is that what gets me going, or keeps me going, or has me in a good mood this early in the morning? So I tested it out. This was before lockdowns, so maybe January of 2020, and I found I could get to about 12:30, and then right around like 12:30 I would get a bad caffeine headache, one where even if I took Excedrin, which has some caffeine in it, or other like medicine you get for taking headaches, it wouldn't go away. It'd be with you almost the rest of the day. Even if I drank coffee, my body was like, it's too late, you're in withdrawals. You should not have done that to us. So I researched and did a bunch of looking into coffee, and your body is addicted to the caffeine, just like you would be to any other addictive substance, which to me was like, whoa, that is crazy. And then they have whole articles on how you like slowly wean yourself off, going from like, say if you have like the large to the medium to the small to the smallest to just ounces, then you're done. So I started doing that. Got down to Starbucks equivalent of like a short, which is like eight ounces. And then the lockdowns hit and we were stuck at home, working from home, doing everything from home. And I was like, really, the only joyful thing in life right now is a cup of coffee and making a huge pot of coffee, drinking it throughout the day, throughout the work day, coming back, reheating it, having meetings on Zoom or Google Hangouts, and drinking coffee. So kind of threw that away, but bringing it forward now, I decided to do it again because I was like, why not? Let's just try it. So I did the same thing with like slowly weaning myself off of it and got to where like the last day I was down to like an ounce or 2 ounces, which I didn't even add creamer because I'm like, what a waste. You're just like not even a shot glass worth of coffee. So I got down to that, and then the next day, guess what? No headache. And the next day, and the next day. And I got it to where I wanted to eventually be able to drink just 1 cup of coffee a week and not have a headache. So I got to that where I can drink it Sunday mornings with our breakfast. And you may be asking, like, why? Why are you doing this? And it was really just a really cool experiment for myself in seeing, like, can I actually do this? Can I get myself off of what is typically a pretty addictive substance as far as, like, it being just coffee, not anything else besides that. And so, like, yes, I was able to do that. Yes, I was able to drink just 1 cup a week and not get headaches. And then the other side of that, though, is I realized I really like the coffee because I enjoy sipping on something and holding something warm in my hands. I have big hands and fingers, I don't know, but they get cold super easily. And a lot of my job is about using my hands and fingers and typing and communicating with my phone. So if I have cold fingers, it becomes so much more difficult, just like slow motion typing, if you would say. So that's why I found that water is a very good suitable replacement within that. So if you're wondering, I feel like when I watch these, I'm like, what's in their cup? And then you're like, water. Why is he drinking water? That's why. But also water is very hydrating. So you guys should stay hydrated, whether it's with hot water or cold water. But let's move on to some other business to get you going. Just kind of a recap with Fisher Philbrick is that we now have ads on our podcast, which is super exciting. We are so excited for this. It was a huge accomplishment. I recorded our first ad, the sponsor that we had, and we plugged it into our first one where it was integrated. So this past week on When to Quit Your Job, which you should go and listen to, we have that integrated. So we have like the intro talking about what we're going to do this week, and then we say like, but wait, before we begin, let's hear a message from our sponsor, which when I recorded, I was like, wow, this is so cool. This is like when you're there, except not, because we're just starting the journey to being on the way to being there, if you would say. But we have that in, and then it also added the ads to all of our episodes. So for those, it'll be at the beginning, but the cool thing is all of those now are being monetized, and as of now, we've made 23 cents, you guys. Yeah. And you're like, wow. But let us just say this is the first 23 cents that we have made. So it is super exciting. Our goal is to get to $1, which hopefully we'll do that in the next week and a half, but it really depends on you guys listening to our episodes. And the good news is it's by listens. So to get to where we needed to be on our first goal of monetizing, we needed 50 different people. So even if you had different devices, it didn't matter. Now, from our understanding, it should just be listens, which means you as one individual could listen to all like 6 episodes we currently have, and each listen would get us some money because you pass by the ad within that. So that's kind of how that works. But it is very exciting. From there, kind of our next focus is that we're shifting over to really focusing on building our network. Myself personally, but also with Fisher Philbrick, it's all kind of interconnected and intertwined between one another. Just reading a lot, like towards the tail end of last week, of really figuring out like how can we get the most out of this, how can we build our network, but also find ways that we can help other people, because kind of a lot of content we've been taking into is that idea of like you really want to help other people and share what you can with them, which is something me personally, like I always want to do, like, hey, how can I help you? What can we do? And so kind of channeling that into like, how can we do that, but not just have it be as a way where people are like, yeah, they offered that at Fisher Philbrick. Like they said, let us know if we can help you, but I don't really think they mean it. Or I think really what happens so often these days is that people just say things like this, like, hey, let me know if I can help you. Hey, let me know. How are you? Good. Are you really good? No, they're probably not. And so it's kind of that same mentality of when people are asking, like, is there anything I can do to help you? People are just like, okay, thanks. Like, that's so kind. But kind of showing them, like, no, we really mean that. Like, are there resources we can provide? Are there connections we can give you? Is there a topic that you're wanting to hear about that we haven't covered yet, but we would be willing to cover it and to look into it? You know, how can we help you? So that'll be kind of as we go from here, is looking into that, figuring that out, which if you are not following myself or Fisher Philbrick on LinkedIn yet, you should definitely go and do so. Myself is Michael Marlon White, and then Fisher Philbrick will be Fisher Philbrick LLC. If you find me, then you'll find the company, and vice versa. Find Fisher Philbrick on LinkedIn, and then you will find me as well. So that's my plug for that, and for the company. So you should go ahead and connect with us. And it is very weird because kind of when LinkedIn came out, and even like through a majority of my like young professional, I'd say I'm still hopefully considered in the young bracket, but I was not very fond of LinkedIn. I just thought LinkedIn was a very like lame way for old people to have a social media. And so even though I had added a lot of my own, you know, details on LinkedIn of what I was doing, what I had been doing, I wasn't actually using LinkedIn. I was just like a thing you had to have because you had to have it. And then even when a lot of people were saying like, well, when you need jobs, people look at your LinkedIn. I'm like, cool, they can look at that. I don't really care. But now, as we're heading towards kind of growing, you know, the business itself, but also myself professionally and as a professional person, a lot of the focus has come back to like, okay, so we have LinkedIn, we have it updated, we are posting somewhat, at least on the Fisher Philbrick account, because we actually have content to post. But then for myself, I'm like, what am I supposed to post? Because a lot of the people that I'm following or connected with, they just post stuff about their jobs, and I'm like, really? I could not care less, which is so sad and kind of, you know, maybe possibly rude to say, but kind of really finding that way so that we can expand, you know, my network, which will also help Fisher Philbrick, and then really find ways that we can help people leading into then where we can then be interviewing businesses for our business show. I think we are about probably a month away. The hope would be for March and starting to interview people. I think after some feedback I got this past weekend was that someone, you know, they acknowledged that I had asked them, you know, we had asked them to do it, and they said they like live videos were just very nerve-wracking for them. It sounded scary. And I was like, yeah, I could see that, because even now for these, like, I get a little nervous of like, oh my gosh, we're about to start. Or am I ready to have everything ready to go? So I think what we're going to do is, you know, if someone actually were to apply, we already have a good system that should show them, you know, like, there's nothing to worry about. We have all these things in place to make sure they're comfortable. And as the host, my job is to make sure when we are live that the person is comfortable and kind of guiding the conversation. But if they are nervous or don't know what to say, that's where your host jumps in, smooths things over, and make sure everything is going good. So kind of our idea from this past weekend is to create a video or reel or some sort of content that shows kind of the process of what it looks like to apply, going through the main back-end steps. The coolest thing though that I thought of is that with live videos right now, you can actually do a practice live video and you can invite people. So no one else will actually have to see your live video. So that was something that previously we had planned on doing a phone call about a day or two before we had the interview with the business owner. But now I was like, hey, if we have that, like, why even go through the process of calling them when we can just set up what would be a video call, which aren't we sick of that after these last 2 years? But it would be through a private live so that they can see the process of what it will look like. It divides the screen in half. Usually when I've seen them, you have to like adjust the camera a little bit because you want, you know, a nice part of you showing. So that will help that. It'll help them figure out the background they want, the lighting they want, as well as it'll likely be the first time they're talking to myself as the host live. likely they will have seen a lot of our other videos, but at the same time, it is good to get that human connection, the personal connection, and really show them like, hey, we're friendly, we're here for you. Do you have any questions? And I know when I did the first live video that I'd ever done, which was introducing myself, I did a couple of those practice ones because I needed to figure out the lighting. I would do them, turn it off, check it on my phone, save it to my phone, look at it and be like, is this okay? What is this? I don't know. Let's test this out. And I would do it again. So that was super exciting to figure that out for what is to come. And so that's kind of what we're going to be like a broad view of what we're going to be working on as we really push towards getting this kicked off, because on top of building our network on LinkedIn, the other thing that will really help is as we're interviewing these businesses is having their supporters and followers tune in to the interviews, the podcasts, reading their content, consuming what we post about them. So that should really help build things up on the monetization side of things. And that's kind of what we have going as the broader things. We do have a few more, like a bigger project coming up, kind of relating to a lot of the work I've done personally with kind of my niche within kids and creating kids work, I guess, kids coloring books, just a lot of stuff within that we're going to be trying to implement within Fisher Philbrick, kind of looking at it as a new project. So more will be coming on that as we go. But that's just a little teaser for what is to come, because I'm super excited about it, and we're super excited about what is to come within that. And it should be a lot of fun, as well as give us more to post about and more that you could actually consume and get your hands on. Be it if we had activity books, coloring books, stickers, pins, there's a lot out there that one can do. And we're not even sure what exactly we're doing because we're still in the creation mode of conceptualizing the overall idea. But as we kind of close this out and get you ready for the rest of your day and your Monday morning, sort of a phrase that I've come back to in the last couple of days is that idea, and I've heard it a couple of different times, where the idea is like, take your work seriously, but yourself not at all. Kind of the idea of like, you have your work to do, you know what you're doing, and yes, you should take it seriously. You can have fun while you're doing it, but you're taking it seriously. But then when it comes to yourself, like, take some of that pressure off. Like, work is a very big part of many of our lives. It's how we pay for things. It's how we grow. It's how we, get to the next sections in our life. But I think it's very easy to take that seriousness of like, I'm always busy. And then when you're not working, I still have this energy of like, I'm still busy, or I'm upset because I always have to work, or I always have to do this. And it's like, no. Take yourself, your work seriously. But then when you step away from your work, have fun with yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously, because you just create a better life for yourself. And I think you should want to have fun. I mean, in your work, you should want to have fun, enjoy what you do. But in your personal life, especially with your friends, your family, those around you. And I think I really like that too, because I like to have fun and be, I don't know if silly is the right word, but joke around, dark humor, especially when I'm working with teams of people in real life, where they're like, this was so unexpected. I'm like, yes, you must not really know me. But at the same time, I can be very serious when like I've got a lot to do. We're going to get this done and we're going to accomplish some things. So for me, I really like that phrase. And I think it's just super funny to think about when you think like, take your work. See, I can't even say it. Take your work seriously, but yourself, not at all. And when I looked it up too, I guess Clint Eastwood says a similar phrasing in a movie or a quote. And then almost every life coach out there has some version of that. I saw it on Facebook. It was like a missionary woman, and that was one of her tips for like living a less stressful life. And that was the one that I thought was funny. So I guess it's out there a lot. But if you haven't heard that, hopefully that's a good thing to get you going. But as you head out to the rest of your day, we wish you the best morning. We hope you're pumped up, ready to go. You either have your hot water or your coffee or your tea or your beverage of choice. Just stay away from drinking and smoking if you can. Protect your health. It will, your body will thank you in the years to come. But we hope you're ready to go and that you enjoy your day, that you have lots of plans for the upcoming week, and that overall you can just get a lot of things done. We are ready, pumped up, ready to go, and we have a lot of work to do. We're guessing that you do too, but we're in this together. Let us know in the comments what you have planned for the day, what you enjoyed from this video, or what you would like to see in upcoming and future videos. We will be here with you all week long, and we look forward to another busy work week with yourselves. So happy Monday, and this has been Monday Mornings with Michael on February 28th, 2022. Thanks, guys.